He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. All the right words. Oh Lord, Matt Ford. In 2022, Matt was not around. Ufology. What did he do to get so far with Lue? Parapsychology. Oh Lord, Matt Ford. You claim Greenstreet attacked Tim's fam. Well, damn. So were you telling the truth or bending the truth? We got the posts and we're gonna show them. Why didn't you show them that? Matt, did your evidence? Why is that? What did you do that for? What's up, Matt? Who the hell is Matt Ford? He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. Who they write for? Oh Lord, Matt Ford. Yeah, you claim Greenstreet attacked Tim's fam. Well, damn. So were you telling the truth or bending the truth? We got the posts and we're gonna show them. Why didn't you show them, Matt? Matt, did you show evidence? Why is that? What did you do that for? What's up, Matt? Who the hell is Matt Ford? He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right door. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. Who they right for? Oh Lord, Matt Ford. Could drive to feel alive. I saw you there in the sunset. I made a point to light a joint there in the sunset. But when I took out my phone to prove this even happened, I couldn't record it and the aliens are laughing. UFO turned me into a clown. My friends think I'm crazy. I can't turn around. I think I'm going crazy, crazy. You killed a cow to show your love to a God that would kill you, just to prove its love for an alien beneath you. Now what will you do? What will you have me do to try to even stop it? Is it heresy? Oh God, I think I'm going crazy. Where could try to feel alive? I saw you there in the sunset. I made a point to light a joint there in the sunset. But when I took out my phone to prove this even happened, I couldn't record it and the aliens are laughing. UFO turned me into a clown. My friends think I'm crazy. I can't turn around. I think I'm going crazy, crazy, crazy. Killed a cow. I took a drive to feel alive. I saw you there in the sunset. I made a point to light a joint there in the sunset. But when I took it This is Sky Fire News, the best UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Skyfire News. Skyfire News. UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Come look for no TV, mom. Skyfire News.
What up? Well, look at this background. We are really in the mix today. Welcome to Skyfire News. Guys, we have a show prepared for you all that I think is kind of important. It's definitely something that I learned a lot about. Red's gonna pop up in here. We got a lot to go over. Of course, the thumbnail is, are they puppets? We don't know. And who might that be, right? Who could it be? Who could it be now? We have Tim Gallaudet. Turns out that he had a appearance on a show that included his family, and it was the paranormal show. And I think he referred to his kid as a medium. So Stephen Greenshtreet reports on this, and then the narrative gets spun around, I think, and like kind of used in a way that I did not see coming. It is a tangled web, but one we're going to go over detail by detail, beat by beat, so that we can all be caught up to speed on what exactly is happening with all this, because it does include people like Lue Elizondo, Tim Gallaudet, these are plugged guys. These guys are in there. And Stephen Greenstreet is a New York Post journalist. He's been exposing the UAP kind of cult, what he calls a cult, the inner circle, for a while. He's very critical of these guys. And so the question is, was he, I guess the question that these guys raised was when Stephen Greenstreet spoke about this stuff, they said that he was attacking Tim Gallaudet's family, that it was a direct attack. So we're going to go over what they said, and I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Do you think it was an attack on his family, or was Greenstreet just reporting the news about someone who's kind of important in the UFO community right now? What is up, Red? How you doing, man?
What's up, bro? Tomorrow I'll be in front of my camera again, but I figured out how to change my profile pic.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Hell
yeah, I'm excited for this episode. As Tupa said, this is kind of the impetus of this episode, is what happened kind of over the weekend with Matt Ford of the Good Trouble Show accusing Stephen Greenstreet of attacking Tim Gallaudet's family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have that as the big theme going through of like, was it an attack, was it not? But in order to like properly have an opinion on that, we're going to go over the backstories of Stephen Greenstreet, Matt Ford, and Tim Gallaudet. So we can kind of see where all these people are coming from. And I think that's really important context to understand this specific thing, but also the greater dynamic of like these kind of controlled disclosure media assets, I would say. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it can wade into weird, right? It's not
Right.
necessarily bad that Lue Elizondo has a show he could go on,
No.
but
No, I
we've
mean,
seen
of course.
we've seen that dynamic evolve into some weirdness time and time again. So we're just going to kind of covering those things as we go through this. But yeah, we do kind of have a lot to go through. So is there any other thoughts you want to get out before we start?
No, I'm excited. I mean, these guys are always bumping heads. It's this what feels like a forced narrative of like debunkers versus disclosures, right? And so some of this stuff gets spun out of control by both believers and people who are hyper into debunking. I guess the followers of each group have a tendency to take these things and turn them into like hyperbolic, statements and whatnot. So I like digging in to the facts about stuff like this so that other people can see it and read the fine print. Basically, we're zooming in on the fine print and we're giving this stuff some context. I think that's important. So let's do it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and we could do so much, I think, streaming that we can't do in like a space or something like that. I think a lot of people are going to leave here learning something, right? At least about Greenstreet, Matt Ford,
Yes.
Tim Gallaudet. Because a lot of people to Greenstreet, he's just a cranky debunker, right? And they they weren't around, right? We were both around when he was like still going. So let's go right into that then. Also, shouts out to Tupa on this image here.
Oh yeah, we didn't outsource this to uplifting tweets. We did this ourselves. Or AI. AI didn't do it either. So eat that.
I don't know what this page is. I think this was just extra. But there's at the bottom Greenstreet and Matt Ford. And as I said, this is kind of like we're talking about this specific event that happened over the weekend, this accusation, but we're also doing a broad topic of these media assets. And in many ways, we're going to cover a few people tonight who all were kind of like the chosen media asset at one point in time. Greenstreet, Lue Reviews comes up a little bit here. Thomas Fessler comes up a little bit tonight, Disclosure Tonight. And of course, Matt Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's just a theme I want people to remember. Oh, nice. So Stephen Greenstreet. Oh, shoot. Okay.
No, we're back. I got you. I'll be the I forget what they call it, the audio visual club. I got you on this one. You just go through this because we got a lot to go through and you're crushing it. I learned so much just from watching this be arranged and whatnot. The stuff goes deep. It goes deeper. Is it a feud or is it like really just like oil and water? What is this? So Stephen Greenstreet is the New York Post journalist. Take it away, man.
Stephen Greenstreet is the New York Post journalist. He's the one who's kind of had this flare up, I guess you could say, with Matt Ford and Tim Gallaudet and Lue Elizondo. So to understand him better, right? Many would know him as a debunker, but he actually was quite the true believer, like 2017, 2018, early on. And as I said, this is kind of a story of different media assets at different points in their journey. And as I said before, too, it makes sense that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, that Lue Elizondo and Eric Davis have a media person that they like and they feel they can trust. And Stephen Greenstreet being a very talented editor, I think even his biggest haters will say that. He soon found himself like making UFO content and was quickly like kind of brought into the fold of this kind of greater network of getting this messaging out for disclosure. And it's evident, we could see there, he had Lue Elizondo on, I think a few times, actually. And I think that's about 2020 or 2019.
So he's like now Greenstreet is definitely like not in this vibe, right? But you're saying when he started out, he was hanging out with Elizondo on streams. He was getting to know and interviewing him, and also people like Eric Davis, who he's very critical of nowadays.
Who also, Eric Davis, like you never see him do interviews. Right?
No, you're right. I mean, it's hard to find media on the guy. It's really, really difficult.
So I think that just kind of goes to show the level within the like disclosure industrial complex that they valued Greenstreet, right? You never hear from Eric Davis, but he went on to Greenstreet show because Greenstreet does make great stuff. Is there anything else I want to say here? All right, so here's a little quick little edit I did. So this is after like a little bit of that period of time. And as I said, he was close with the group. He had Elizondo, Mellon's phone number. They would help him with episodes and stuff and kind of like how to craft what they're saying about a specific topic. here's him kind of giving the story of how he went from kind of a believer to a skeptic.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear anything?
Hold on, I got you. There's an audio button, that's all.
Damaging.
We're in.
I got into the UFO game back in spring 2019. So that would be, around 18 months after this big bombshell story started and the snowball started down the hill. And I mean, honestly, how the basement office came about was a random, statistician, an analytics person came up to the video team and they said, hey, this UFO story, people are searching for UFO stuff. Maybe you should do something in video about UFOs ongoing. So they came to me and they said, pitch us an idea. And I didn't want to do a History Channel show where it was all these recreations and gravitas narration. So my thought was just two dudes sitting at a desk talking about facts and evidence about UFOs. That was it. And when it came to me, up until that point, I was just a spectator. I was just a spectator to the New York Times article, and I hadn't dug into any of this. I just took it at face value that what everyone in the media was saying, at least the basics, were true. I was asked, for our show, we should get our own Pentagon statement. So rather than saying CNN reported the Pentagon said, or the Times reported the Pentagon said, let's be able to say the Pentagon told us. I was like, yeah, okay, great. Reached out to the Pentagon, and then bam, I get two bombshells in the same email. I didn't think I was going to get anything new at that point. It's 18 months into this story. I'm just la-di-da, hey, Pentagon, just want a statement or about ATIP and Elizondo, thanks. And then they write back saying, ATIP did investigate UAP and Elizondo had no responsibilities with ATIP. And so just right off the bat, it was a very head shaking moment where how is it possible? How is it possible that 18 months into this, some random dude in the basement of the New York Post sends off a generic email and gets two bombshells? Why didn't anyone else ask about this? We first reached out to Elizondo. I didn't. We had a talent outreach person at the Post.
Okay.
Whose talent was finding talent, getting to their representatives, getting them on the phone. And she said that she got Elizondo on the phone, and he was talkative and happy to talk. And hell yeah, let's do this. I'll do an interview with you guys. Woo! And then that got shut down overnight. The PR firm handling TTSA, or at least the History Channel show, was a big PR firm. They emailed me and they're just we understand you want to talk to Elizondo. What about? And from there, it was just me and the PR firm. And, I had this girl call Elizondo back, and it was not happening. And this PR firm was what do you want to know? And I was like, well, I just got this statement from the Pentagon that says Elizondo had nothing to do with ATIP. And they replied, he'll talk to you off record about that. And I was like, well, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in off record. I want a response, and I would like it from him. And they were like, nope, that's not going to happen. And then they copied and pasted Carrie DeLong's statement about, he started in 2010 and ATIP and all that stuff. And I was like, that's great. But the Pentagon is saying the opposite of that. Can I get better? And then they got angry with me. This PR firm, they're like, what's your angle here? It doesn't sound they got really defensive. And then when it became apparent I wasn't getting anything else.
He says they got weird with him and stuff like that. So that's kind of I cut up a bunch of that interview, right? That was an hour interview. It kind of flowed really seamlessly. But yeah, so he was a true believer in the camp. Things are going good, and then this ATIP, did Lue Elizondo have responsibilities or not? Question that we hear come up all the time came up for him.
Uh-oh. Speaking of things coming up, We have ourselves our first super chat of the night. Hell yeah, let's go. As soon as we can find that track. I love this song, by the way.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Red, get yourself some lumpias tonight, dog. And a bag of Takis. It's on Grandma, says Dan.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Jan. So that whole ATIP thing kind of started his like, what's going on here? And then I think the response also, this kind of like, yeah, brother, we're all on the same team. And then like the second you ask something, just kind of getting a weird, it's almost like, you know, and I don't have it pulled up because I'm kind of talking about a lot. It's almost like the question, right, with the Lue reviews. It's like, oh, whoa, this is kind of a little weird response. I didn't expect this. I just wanted more information. So that kind of set him off on his kind of debunker way. Something else important, I think, to consider with Stephen Greenstreet is that he was raised Mormon, and I think like a more intense brand than just your typical Mormon.
Ultra Mormon? That's rare.
Just maybe like a little more adherence to some like the stricter, you know what I mean, lifestyles and shit.
Fundamentalists.
Yeah. So that's important to know too.
Okay.
So let's continue along here.
Hey, I got it.
And it is exciting, and then you get wrapped up.
This is him just this past weekend on Erica Luke's podcast. Dude, for New Frontiers Research, everyone go follow it. But yeah.
Into some of this, and it can be very damaging for people that have, you know, that have mental illness, that are struggling, you know, with isolation, all of these things. And that's what to me has been so alarming, to see how really good people, really kind people that are genuinely looking for the truth or looking for a group of people to hang out with and talk about things are being manipulated. That's really sad.
Yeah, but it's like, it is. And you're right. You see that happen sometimes in real time. You know, this is the UFO group, the UFO core group believers. They're very vocal. They're very social, you know, in various social outlets. And so you see and get to know some of these people, you know, via social media. And you see kind of like these little mini journeys happening. There's ups and downs with various folks. But, you know, I rewatched Going Clear, which is Alex Gibney's documentary on Scientology. It's like the same thing. These people, these searchers, these seekers, right, are approached at maybe a vulnerable time in their life, and they're enraptured by the promises and the idea, and it gives them purpose. Like, purpose plays a big role in here. It's like, this is a great purpose. If it was real, this would be like the greatest purpose you could have, you know, for humanity. And it gives someone that purpose. But under there's all this. As you learn in this Scientology documentary, they eventually get...
There it is. There it is, dude. How can I never find this?
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
UAP Mike with the $5 super chat says Stephen Greenstreet is a hack. Only a matter of time before they find someone else who can get an interview with someone other than Kirkpatrick. All right, Mike. Love right back at you, Mike. Can't wait to catch you,
bro. Hell yeah,
dude. I can't wait to catch the next episode of UFO Love Group. Gonna be sick.
Late group. Yeah, let's finish out this clip of him kind of talking about the weird. Yeah, I mean, you love this point of conversation, the Scientology weirdness of some of these things.
Get to the point.
There's a lot of weirdness
where they have to start doing things that they're probably not comfortable with and don't want to agree with. But because of social pressure and religious pressure and that feeling of, if I lose this, I lose a big part of my life. And so a lot of people just keep going despite some red flags, perhaps. And you can empathize. I can empathize with that.
Right.
I did that.
Right. So kind of some important things he touches on, because like we're going through all these different journeys we're watching right here develop. But he was, again, the golden boy. He was very much like a Lue Reviews, where it's like put on a pedestal. Eric Davis is not talking to anybody, but he's talking to Greenstreet. You know what I mean? He starts asking some questions, and I think it kind of just, I feel like Greenstreet's kind of person, like, you know what I mean? And everyone kind of gets faces this of like, there's a red flag in front of you. Are you going to just kind of like ignore it? Or are you going to be like, yo, this is a red flag? I think he's the kind of person who was definitely one who would call it out, right? After he kind of had this little turn, he started getting attacked and harassed in all the ways we already know and we talk about it all the time. Something interesting that they did to Tupa, that they did to Greenstreet too, is they made a website of all of kind of everything edgy or racist he might have said online ever. So it's just kind of like easily accessible. They found out a bunch of personal stuff about like his past relationships and stuff and kind of throw it in his face.
They love those websites, man.
Which is, again, another Scientology tactic, straight up. Like,
okay,
dude,
hold on. Let's go over this because this is, I mean, I know it sounds, maybe it's connecting, maybe it's not with people, but they are literally making websites for people to slander them, defame them as a hub for when, hopefully for when, like, and then I think they do like the, you know, the SEO stuff, right? So that way, like, if someone looks up your name, it goes to that website. And if they mass email your entire contact list, they can just email them a link to that website where they have framed all the information and data. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing. So yeah, that's happening. And it's a weird thing where it's not talked about a lot, right? But when we discovered it, it's like, okay, because it did happen to me. And then we saw it happen to, you know, other people. We know, remember it happened to Moran Lerner and all these other things. It's like, oh, and you're saying that this is a Scientology tactic.
it is. Which is so weird. And it's one of the reasons I'm like, are there Scientologists up in here? Because there's multiple people now who, when they speak out against a certain narrative, they have a website made about them that like looks just like Scientology websites about other people. You know what I mean? Very true. Creepy. So after he flips, right, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but he's kind of telling the story. There's this moment, which I thought we don't have to play the whole thing, but it kind of shows, and it's kind of, you'll see parallels of all these different people's journeys who are the chosen mouthpiece of disclosure.
And Stephen Greenstreet flips a gotcha moment into revelation of the Felon 5 texts.
Have you ever been arrested for beating a woman, or do you have a felon for any of these crazy kinds of crimes?
I'm sorry. Wait. So what's the question again? Like, I don't have context for what you're asking me.
So people have been posting.
Lue Elizondo didn't.
I'll just pause right there because we're not going to play the whole thing, but it kind of goes to show, and this is a thing we'll see, and even with Greenstreet, right? Lue Reviews is making reference to like the website of bad things that people found about Greenstreet, right? His edgy comments maybe about whether or not it's okay for a man to hit a woman in self-defense or something like that, right? So like, and it's also interesting too because it's like Greenstreet is on the way out of being the disclosure golden boy, and Lue Reviews is on the way in, kind of a situation here when this happened. And you can see even Greenstreet's a little shocked, right? There's this weird thing, and we've seen it happen time and time again. And that's why, honestly, I know Tupa's kind of like in a screw Matt Ford mentality. My mentality with Matt Ford is like, bro, like you should watch all this because like you're not the first disclosure golden media boy, and just be careful because the blood in, blood out, real quick on Tupa.
Blood in, blood out, real quick. If you live by the access, you die by the access. You know what I mean? There's just ample opportunities to speak out about this kind of stuff. So something real quick dawned on me. We were talking about Scientology earlier. Now, we know that one of the things that Scientologists do is they do this weird thing called fair game, where if someone's been designated fair game, usually detractors and people who've left the church, right, then they go and they surround them, literally physically, right, and digitally, they surround them, and they just throw these weird baseless claims out. I mean, that's one of the things they love to do. I have video of it. I don't. If we want to, I can share it. Chat, let me know. I'll go through and I'll dig through the crates, right, and find you this clip. And it's a montage of these Scientologists just throwing accusations out at people who are holding cameras so they can document it. But it's insane, and it really it reminds me like Lou Jimenez here, right? Lue Reviews, he's really doing like a what looks like the first time a baby bird tries to fly, You know, it looks like the first time a Scientologist tries to fair game somebody, because he's like taking this direct. He's like uncomfortable. He knows it's a damning thing to say, and is probably the only reason he's saying it is because somebody wants it to have been said. You know what I mean? Because once it's said out loud and recorded, other people might hear it. It's supposed to psychologically affect the person and the audience. So it's a manipulation tactic through and through, and it is very similar to Scientologists, which is
And another
weird
important
thing.
point is that, remember, this is, and we're not going to go into it too deep here, but the Felon 5 text was kind of influencing. So Lue Elizondo, his messages to Lue Reviews were kind of influencing how this kind of stuff played out, and how he was framed. And that's kind of important because it's going to come up again, except this whole kind of thing is going to play out again, but instead of little Lue Reviews there, it's Matt Ford, and that's what happened this past weekend. So kind of, I think understanding this kind of like recurringness of this kind of stuff is important.
Did not email you.
Now we got Matt Ford.
Matthew Ford. What is up, Matthew? You hear the song we played in the beginning?
Yeah, that was super fire.
We don't got to play it again unless we get requests, but it
No,
sums
and
up
I
the
know
situation.
Tupa has a little bit of a different outlook on me than this, which I think is good. But again, Matt, if you're watching this, bro, like, this is like, I'm actually trying to like help inform you. Just, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to be anyone's mouthpiece without realizing it. And there's a few people who've kind of been in your position and kind of felt used at the end of it all.
So you're saying Matt Ford might be a mouthpiece, right? And this is for like Elizondo and all these other people. The Good Trouble Show was the good. I want to know about the history of the Good Trouble Show, man, and of Matt Ford. How long has he been in this UFO world?
I think his first UFO videos were in 2022, which isn't like horrible or anything, but we're going to look at it too. He kind of got into it a little late, and that's another thing where it's like, I feel like just to even kind of understand things, you need a few years of just kind of like researching and understanding dynamics. So I would just caution anyone who like is starting new and is already in the mix with some of these figures to kind of look at what happened to some of the other ones, as I've been saying.
Good advice.
Oh yeah, so Matt Ford, he has the Good Trouble Show. He also has this thing called Stand for Better. Yeah.
That's weird. It's a weird name.
Which is like a democratic, I feel like it's a straight up propaganda mill. Not even in a bad way, but it's like, what else would you call it, right? Like they make propaganda to push Democrat causes, which is fine.
Well, are they volunteer or do they get paid? Are they a political action committee? What are they?
I think they're a political action committee, but I don't know. But I know he does have a background in lighting. He has his own IMDb, so he does lighting in LA for like, I think, talk shows, like late night shows. And he also has some kind of like political connections and ties.
Matthew with and strong political beliefs that he pushes through Stand for Better.
Yeah.
Left-leaning.
Big
Left-leaning
guy, big anti-Trump guy. And again, I don't really care about that, but it is kind of interesting, you know what I mean, that he kind of went from being a political commentator person and then kind of flipped and is now the golden mouthpiece of the disclosure movement. And as we're going to cover, he's kind of been putting out messages where if I was Matt Ford, I'd be kind of pissed at the people who are having me put these messages out. But let's get there.
Yeah, okay. Matt.
So
the gaffer.
Here's him recounting his experience on
really to be honest, what sent this down
there's a cringy strike for me.
Really down this path is when I began to experience things myself. The first time anything happened to me was shortly.
Okay, real quick, because I was lost for a little while, just in case any of the audience are. So this is Matt Ford explaining to Dave Scott of a show called Spaced Out Radio. Shout out to Dave. It is Dave, right? I'm not tripping. Shout out to Spaced Out Radio. They've been out at it for a long time. So Matt Ford is on Spaced Out Radio. Around what date is this?
This is, I think, January 2023. So he's about 4 or 5 months, I think, into the UFO game at this point.
Okay, so this is like 12 months ago. And so like he's been in the game. He's like looked in and he's describing an experience he's had. And did he say that he had it once he started to go down this road? So after he began to look into the phenomenon, that's when he had his experience?
Way, but let's listen.
Okay.
After I had this conversation with the senator's office,
and it was probably about a month or so later. But I was sitting outside, and this golden orb showed up about 200 feet away from the house. At first, I thought it was a helicopter landing light, and it faded out and kept coming towards the house. And it was with a quality of light unlike anything that I've ever seen. And that was my first time in my entire life to see anything like that.
So, and again, this is like, it's expected, right? Like, people see something, get excited. There's this whole like other world. You think Lue and crew are true, you know what I mean? Think people are framed for you. I just think it's kind of important perspective to have on Matt, because he is an experiencer per his own account, right? Like,
He saw a golden orb.
yeah, that'll set you down some paths, you know what I mean?
For sure. Okay, so this is stuff from Stand for Better org. So this is an example of the stuff that he's done and said. Real quick, I'm going to give this the full screen layout. So he's got a psychopath. It's Trump. Really classic picture of him. It says, if you are a Republican and you still support psychopath Donald Trump, after he posted, quote, if you go after me, I'm coming after you, end quote, on Truth Social, you are the problem. So Stand for Better org is definitely taking position, a strong position politically here. Ableist absolutist. So he does not like Elon Musk. Elon Musk publicly mocks Twitter employee. Let's see what Twitter employee this is. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to skip that. For having muscular dystrophy. Elon Musk is a ableist absolutist. Okay. So who can give me 1,000 retweets? Wow. What a good tactic. Did he get 1,000 retweets on that one? Whatever. Tucker Carlson. Ooh, almost got it. Tucker Carlson is happy to lie and sell out his country if it means big ratings and a big bonus. Tucker is a sellout. Stand for Better. That's Matt Ford in a company now with Gary Nolan, right? And now Gary Nolan I think he's friends with Tucker Carlson. Whatever. Not everybody can have the same political beliefs, but this is very interesting.
Yeah, and I want to point this out in that all the different media assets, I would call them right now, for the disclosure movement. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they all bring their own flair to it, right? So when Lue Reviews was on UCR, he's an actor, he's a comedian, he's able to kind of bring an energy. Stephen Greenstreet has a history of making documentaries, right? Kind of like investigative things. So he's able to bring this kind of thing to this greater disclosure movement push that has like Gary Nolan, Lue Elizondo and company. What Matt Ford's bringing is his lighting skills, which I will give him credit for. I think he's pretty good. His set looks pretty fire, to be honest. But he's also bringing this kind of energy, right?
Great lighting, Matt.
Great lighting. Yeah, great lighting, Matt. Where Lue Reviews wasn't doing like stuff like this before he became a UFO guy, but Matt Ford was doing stuff like this before he became a UFO guy, and he's kind of putting that onto his current stuff.
Do you think it's possible that Matt Ford was sought out for his experience with standforbetter.org? Do you think that is some kind of connection? I mean, because, and I'm not trying to get conspiratorial whatsoever. It's just that we know, right, that Tom DeLonge was talking to John Podesta about this stuff, right? John Podesta, Chris Mellon. I think these are all very staunch Democrats. Podesta was part of the campaign for Hillary Clinton and whatnot, a lot of different things. He was involved. His hands have been in so much stuff. And I think politically they all kind of do fall in line to the left. And we even have people like Katie Howland in the mix who was a former Biden staffer, right? So there are this kind of, I don't know how else to say it, but there are a lot of political interests involved in disclosure right now. And a lot of them lean left when it comes down to this UAP issue. I mean, was UAP coined by Dems? I mean, I remember Hillary Clinton being one of the first people to talk about this, about the name, right? The change of the name. And I wonder, I mean, is it too much to look into, or is it the wrong tree to be barking up? What do you think?
I think there's something there. I think there's some coordination going on behind the scenes. I mean, I think people might have known each other for longer than they say, which again is fine. I mean, I don't really care that people like, obviously this phenomenon affects every political ideology, right? So
sure.
no one owns it, but it is interesting, right? That this is happening, and we'll cover some more stuff where I think it might point towards what you're leaning towards a little bit.
Okay.
But as I said, this is what Matt Ford was doing before, and so he kind of brought that into the UFO community.
Oh, he literally brought it into the UFO community. Look. Okay. Do you know when these UFO related or ufology related tweets came out?
I want to say these started at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023.
Bro, okay, so CIA shill Sean Kirkpatrick. Okay, so I'm going to read this one. And it says, new from the Hill. Top United States senators, including Chuck Schumer, suspect CIA/Pentagon hiding UFO UAP crash recovery program. Okay. While former DOD Aero Director Sean Kirkpatrick shills for the CIA. Is it proven that he shills for the CIA?
No.
So that's just an accusation.
Correct. And this is another point that's important to make, right? Where like Matt Ford is fairly new to the UFO subject, and as I said, like it took me a while. I just wanted to like kind of get a feel for the land before I kind of like went out there pontificating anything, you know what I mean? So I think it's important to note that like where are these opinions really coming from for Matt Ford? And again, I'm not like trying to knock the guy all episode or anything, but like think about all the stuff he says that we're going to cover, and like how does somebody with a year and some change of UFO stuff have all this? You know what I mean?
And Reddit really does fall in line with a lot of this, like kind of like the same narrative. It's the same. These are the same enemies of this kind of like core group of believers or whatever, right? These are critics of them. I mean, Sean Kirkpatrick's sin was releasing a report from the Arrow thing that he directed, which is the government search for UFOs inside of the government or whatever. And he said, I didn't find nothing. And so he's been attacked. Kirkpatrick is on record. We've reported on it several times. Please go back and watch some of these older streams, but we're happy to show you guys again. But this Kirkpatrick has admitted and said and reported that he's been basically stalked, attacked, and harassed, his family, everything, his coworkers. That's why he refuses to tell the names of the people in Arrow, because they came after him. He has had people show up to his house, death threats. I mean, the list goes on.
Well, what's
and a lot of the weird threats and intimidation seem to be coming from what he says are UFO believers or people who believe in this core narrative that seeps out from this core group. And here we have Stand for Better, right? An extension of Matt Ford, a political extension of Matt Ford, basically attacking, right? Sean Kirkpatrick, calling him a CIA shill, which is a guess as far as he can tell. But it's not just some rando doing it. This is
no. And let me make this point real quick. It's there's a direct correlation with these posts and these people receiving hate, memes, derogatory stuff. It's like these are very much so marking posts.
So these are like the lasers for like missiles, right? These are the kinds of things that calls for more attacks. Okay, so calling him a CIA shill, I mean, I'd love to go through this post. I know we're not going to do it right now, and just scroll through the comments and see, and also go through Sean Kirkpatrick's whatever social media he's got, just to see when these attacks happen, if there is correlation. So now we're going to go on to this guy, my friend. What is his name? Ken Klippenstein.
Remember you were in the space? We were all in the space with him that one day.
Yes. I thought that was wild. So he wrote an article, right? So a message to Ken Klippenstein and The Intercept: do the right thing and reveal who in the CIA Office of Security leaked the healthcare records of whistleblower Intel veteran David Grush. Okay, so David Grush, his info apparently leaked out. This is when Ken Klippenstein reported on something medical related to David Grush, and everyone jumped on him for it. Ken came into a space that we were hosting and then actually explained his side of the story. But yeah, now they're calling him here another CIA shill.
And I don't like the way you talked about Grush, to be clear, but also y'all are going to call me schizo for this one. I bet you it's probably a little closer to home, whoever leaked the info about Grush. Because remember, that was a rallying point, and that was the ribbon.
No.
We already had some weird attacks from Grush from the same people wearing the ribbon.
See, this is where we're both playing the same kind of cop here. I'm on board with you 100% from everything I've seen. I think that there is evidence that shows that this is a tactic that is done. And when you look at the statements made by the people who attacked David Grush and tried to out him, And the reasons why they did it are to get him to out himself so they can move forward and use it as propaganda for this kind of movement. It might sound crazy what I'm saying, but that's my
information they
take
found
on it.
about him is information they're known to find about everyone else in the community, right?
Boom. Absolutely. But that's a whole other rabbit hole. We're going to get into that one. Here we're ending off on Pentagon useful idiot. This is John Greenwald here in this last slide. John Greenwald is known for running the Black Vault, which gets FOIA requests for UFO related information from the government and post them. And you could just go there and search it if you want to. It's a pretty dope platform, a really good website. I found stuff on there all the way back as far as like 2005 or 7 or something like that. Like, he has been at it for a minute. Let's see what they got to say about him. How does Matt Ford feel about this guy who's been doing this? We got Pentagon useful idiot John Greenwald of the Black Vault is stirring the pot again. The Good Trouble Show and Chris Sharp explained months ago that the real reason David Grush would not go to Arrow, but John spins it to cast doubt on Grush. Pentagon useful idiot. So this is literally propaganda. That's all. Look, it's visual propaganda, right? And it's literal propaganda. It's spinning a story, and it's using hyperbolic language in order to convince the reader off just a glance that there's a good guy and a bad guy in the situation. Clearly labeling, and this is high school
and with
level.
Ken, I disavow some of the ways he spoke about Grush. But with John Greenwald, no, not at all. He was just releasing FOIA documents.
There's a real problem these guys have with people asking questions, which honestly doesn't fill me with confidence, right? Like, I want to be able to ask questions without getting attacked for it. Good luck in this field. Standforbetter.org turned into, from a political thing, now they're using political propaganda language to push for UFO or UAP disclosure in a certain way.
Real quick, who do you think Matt Ford consults with, or do you even think any of these are his inception of an idea, or do you think someone's telling him, hey, we need pressure on XYZ person?
That's a good question. If I had to say it, I would say that Matt Ford sounds often like he's reading from a teleprompter that he didn't write. And that's what I think. I'm not involved in their production. I don't know where those scripts are coming from, but the guy definitely I don't feel ownership from his words when he speaks. And I've seen the show a couple times. I've seen a lot of segments of his. I remember when he was telling this one dude, you work for us.
Oh yeah, I think we got that coming up. And real quick though, too, we also have some breaking news.
What's happening?
We're hearing from Kent Reynolds live from Contact in the Desert. Hell yeah, glad to hear you're still there. Right. You're still kicking, Kent. Hopefully we get you, Kimball, John on well, that was the plan a few days ago. I think that'll still be good. We want to get a post trip brief, but that'll be fun.
Hell yeah. Contact in the Desert, huge UFO event. Shout out to everybody out there that made it real. Shout out to everybody out there who played our music. Whoa, okay, we're going backwards. It's like, how much propaganda is this
just
guy
doing
doing?
Back again to show them that. So again, just to reiterate, Matt Ford, all these different mouthpieces bring their own flair, and Matt Ford is bringing this flair to the UFO community.
What a flair. I'm going to be dead serious here, because I usually am. Sean Kirkpatrick has reported abuse, real harassment, okay? Real violations of his personal space based on his inability to back up what these guys are saying, this core group. And John Greenwald is a seemingly good guy who people seem to disagree with. And a lot of people who like Lue Elizondo seem to attack Greenwald at every cost for what I can't figure out. I know we got UAP Mike in here. He's criticized Greenwald his fair share and more. I feel like he's gone overboard. I've criticized Mike for the things he said about Greenwald publicly. I really have. And we've gone toe to toe about it. It actually was something that stirred the pot a little bit between me and an entire podcast worth of people. That it was a strange event because of Greenwald, right? And so they go after him all the time. So this isn't just like Stand for Better or Matt Ford finding some niche little story that no one knows and trying to break a story. This is him dogpiling, right, on people who are already suffering weird ass abuse and attacks by what turn out to be later on Matt Ford's friends and comrades.
Which, ironically enough, all three of the people on screen, I've seen that group use family as an attack vector.
So we're talking about the UFO hate group. The UFO hate group has definitely and will definitely utilize family as a way to attack and intimidate their targets. And you're right. All of these guys have recorded family attacks online, slanderous claims. And it's strange because the guys who are doing the attacking are Matt Ford's comrades, compadres, whatever you want to call them, collaborators, friends. And these are this is not some online theory. This is all right there. So it's very interesting.
And I disavow Ken Klivenstein. I think the way he spoke about Grush was, and what's interesting is even remember Greenwald and everyone in that space was like, we don't like the way Ken wrote about Grush at all. So that was
we all disavowed it. We all disavowed it because
then they flipped it on us.
These bastards. Very clever guys. Okay, so we got Matt Ford talking to Gillibrand, talking to Gary Nolan, talking to Gallaudet, talking to Sean Cahill. Interesting. Gillibrand's just a congresswoman, right? But Cahill, let it ride.
So this is important because that was Gillibrand's first ever interview, which
Really?
is huge, and that was like Matt Ford's 4th month of. I don't know about this layout, but that was Matt Ford's like 4th month of being a UFO person. And mind you, Gillibrand's been in the UFO scene as one of the biggest senators for years, right? So it's kind of crazy that it went to him of all people. And I kind of think that leads to your kind of thing of, is there a bigger political op being run here? Why did Matt Ford get this exclusive? You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not confused one shit, dude. These guys get these exclusives because they looks like they're playing ball. I mean, he came out and started to attack the people that they attack, and now all of a sudden he's getting access to them. Yeah, right. That's a coincidence.
And look at Gary Nolan, and he has Tim Gallaudet on. And this is all within, I think, 6 or 7 months of him starting, which is, again, pretty interesting. Good work for Matt.
Not bad for a lighting guy, Matt. Not bad.
The lighting looks great, Matt.
It is superb. Although I want to say that the shadows on you, they're a little dark, dude. All right, those are hard shadows. Let's soften them up a little bit. I don't know if it's really killing your features there, but that's my opinion. Who am I? I'm not a lighting guy. I wouldn't know. But I do think, Cahill's lighting right there is kind of crushing it. Sick beard.
Yeah, he is. He actually is
crushing
it.
Haircut. Yeah, crushing it.
Okay, let's continue. Oh, yeah. So Matt Ford is the current mouthpiece. We saw Greenstreet was a mouthpiece at one point. UCR was definitely a mouthpiece at one point. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's like, a lot of times, as Stephen Greenstreet said, people think they're doing good things, right? And a lot of times they are, like the Bigfoot home. You know what I mean? But when you get into weird stuff, kind of like what we saw with Matt Ford, calling Greenwald, Pentagon useful idiot, which, I mean, I guess you could do that. But knowing that it's also coupled with weird harassment, I think it's adding a weird dynamic to this conversation that necessarily doesn't have to be there.
Mike, here's the deal. You are either willfully ignorant or woefully corrupt. Remember, you work for us, not the defense contractors. And if you continue down this path of obfuscation, a political firestorm will be coming your way, the likes you have never seen.
So then there's this kind of stuff, right? Where it's like, okay, Mike Turner honestly might be a little sus, not going to lie. But like, I don't think Matt Ford has, I mean, he does have political knowledge, right? But like, who's telling him to say this? And like, to say it so like that, and to like know that I could unleash a political firestorm. He used the word obfuscator. That's a key word that we see a lot.
He sounded like, how do I say, this is Skyfire. He sounded like an ineffectual loser when he said that. Like, you work for us. Remember.
Right, here's the deal.
Bro, you're in a fucking hotel room with the Hawaiian shirt on. You're reading lines that someone else wrote for you. Talking to a fucking a congressman like that. This guy fucking probably did more last summer than you've done your whole life. He's out here grinding. Matt, you're in a think about it, bro. Who wrote that for you? Let me guess. Let me give one guess on who wrote that for you. Could it be the same person who said there should be a fucking tribunal for Neil deGrasse Tyson to lose his PhD? You work for us. Listen here. I couldn't imagine saying that with a serious face, thinking I was having a real effect on a real man like Mike Turner. I also want people to notice, go to Mike Turner's Twitter account. Go to his fucking Twitter account right now. Tell me what you see. Scroll through. And what you should do is find out the date that this guy said this. Red, let's find out when did Matt Ford say this statement? And then also let's go back to Mike Turner's Twitter account and let's see who attacked Mike Turner. Because what you're going to find is you're going to find, if you scroll through Mike Turner's page, you're going to find you're a fucking traitor. You're a traitor to UAP. And then all the attacks are coming from people who have UAP in their name. Go scroll through. It's not a walk in the park. There's no flowers. All right, scroll through. So the people that Matt Ford targets, in this case, Mike Turner, you work for us. In this case, it's Mike Turner. He received attacks after this. So is Matt Ford like levying his platform to like basically be a mouthpiece for people who want to attack these politicians for these other reasons that we're just supposed to sit here and then do the attacking like some fucking drones or some pawns? It's what it seems like, dude. It's what it seems like. Matt, if you're listening, who wrote that? We'd like to know. Come on the show. Did you write that? Why can't you read these things like you mean them? Like you wrote them? I'm not hearing it. You work in Hollywood. When you listen back to your tapes, do you feel what you're saying? Just ask yourself that. Do you feel it? Because to come out here on camera with Good Trouble Show logo and tell a fucking congressman, you work for us. You got to be kidding me. Have some self-reflection, Matt. I disagree with your approach here to use your platform to basically echo these weird political attacks on people because I scrolled through Mike Turner's page. I scrolled through his Twitter account. It's all attacks, calling him a traitor to his country because he's not doing what you're saying he should do. It's weird. Go through.
And there's something
through.
to say about exercising your right as an American, right? There's all
sure.
I'm all for that. But I think it's going to prove more of a point as we continue along because there's times where Matt Ford, and that's what I'm saying, like Matt Ford, we as an audience, as a UFO community, since he's clearly like being given this platform, should all be asking, where is Matt Ford's information coming from? Matt Ford should be asking, where's Matt Ford's information coming from? And we're going to see right now, there's been a few times where like the information he's put out from trustworthy people kind of didn't seem to pan out the way they thought. So like,
really?
Yeah.
Statement from Lue Elizondo is absolutely.
So this was a few weeks back. This was the death threat against Lue, and this is to show you guys the significance. And we thought it was weird at the time too. Matt Ford got the exclusive on this. A guy who's kind of new to the UFO scene. I mean, now he's been about a year, right? A year and some change. But still, and at the time we were like, why isn't Lue going to like at least News Nation or like the police? Why is he going to Matt Ford?
Yeah.
So this is, and listen to the way he delivers it too.
The most disturbing thing. Quote, to add insult to injury, I was notified yesterday that there may be a personal threat against myself and several other whistleblowers formerly associated with the UAP effort for the U.S. government. As such, I would like to make this perfectly clear to the American people. I am not prone to accidents. I'm not suicidal. I'm not abusing drugs. I am not engaged in any illicit activities. If something happens to me or my family members, in the future, you will know what happened. You will know what happened. I want everybody to just stop and think for a moment about that statement from Lue Elizondo.
Oh, we're thinking, bud.
This is coming from a former high-ranking and decorated member of the intelligence community, a guy much like David Grush and others that have literally sacrificed everything for this country. People like Lue Elizondo and David Grush that have in many ways thrown away their career, thrown away literally everything to put country before themselves, country in many ways before their families.
Okay, so we're going to claim next that where Danny Sheehan says no, but I'm curious too, but do you think Matt Ford believes this, what he's saying?
No, and here's why. While I don't support the attacks on politicians at the behest of podcast hosts who are clearly puppets for larger issue. You know what I mean? I still don't trust politicians. They're liars. A lot of them are lying all the time. And frankly, a lot of the takes that Stand for Better so far has shown seems to be one of propaganda and lying, a willfulness to deceive. And a willfulness to deceive at a public level means a lack of respect for your audience. If you have to deceive and you wish to deceive in such a stupid, low-level way as those propaganda posters were, because that's low level. That's the kind of shit they used to show like 90-year-old people on local news when a governor's trying to like oust another governor. You know what I mean? Boom, black and white in red, CIA shill. I mean, we've all seen it before. Even Stephen Greenstreet's propaganda is better than that. So the level of execution and the type of propaganda used by an organization led by Matt Ford himself tells me he doesn't respect anybody. He doesn't respect his viewers. He doesn't respect his followers. And he doesn't respect us. Why would he have to tell us the truth? Why should I believe that he's ever presenting anything genuinely if he's willing to do that type of propaganda? Why should I, right? And also to like basically act as a mouthpiece for a lot of these people seems strange. It seems, you know what it just seems like he's playing ball. So it's hard for me to say I believe anything he's saying. I mean, to be honest, right? Like,
I don't necessarily believe him, but I think he's excited, and I think he's probably feeling all gassed up because he's got the phone number of Lue Elizondo, and like he's all like got the America flag boner and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Do you think he had the UAP talk?
Oh, he's had this. Everything we've seen from him was the result of the UAP talk that we've covered so far in this episode.
I think so.
All right, let's continue. So yeah, so this was the big death threat, and then
For
Danny, I was wondering if you could elaborate.
Oh, let's set this up because this is fucking genius.
But yeah, so Lue Elizondo goes out here and he says he's got a death threat, and again, we disavow all death threats. We disavow attacks on family. But we also, I think it's important to be critical of some of this stuff, especially when it's used to rile people up and point them at people, which is kind of the whole point of the episode, even though we haven't even got to the Tim Gallaudet stuff yet.
We'll get there.
So Lue Elizondo says this stuff. Everyone's like freaking out and worried, right? And it became this thing, this was a few weeks ago, where it's like, you can't even question this or else you're questioning whistleblowers. Mind you, there's evidence of Lue Elizondo kind of doing this playbook in the past, but we'll get there in a little bit. So then in a space, Danny Sheehan just happened to be there, and I happened to ask him. I was like, hey, what's going on here? From a place of genuine concern, because like even though I kind of lean towards Lue as being a little theatrical, I actually want more info if something's actually happening. So I'm just going to play my question, and then I'm going to fast forward a little bit because it takes him like 6 minutes of like prepping before he says, reader, if you have any more information about these that we're hearing about recently. I know we touched on it a little bit, but like what's happened that triggered this tweet from Lue? Or do you guys have any suspicion of like who's the group behind these alleged threats, more specifically than just like the gatekeepers kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't believe that the. I've got to be careful about this. You know that it's true that there are all kinds of people, you know, saying bad things about Lue in the program, and the is that. That a person, kind of ardent skeptic, but that's not the kind of thing that we're talking about in the recent event. What's happened is that a person who is knowledgeable about the program, that is the crash retrieval program and the back engineering program, was found dead. And the police believed that it was a suicide, but some of the people said, "Well, look, you shouldn't be hasty in coming to your conclusion that it's a suicide, because he was in possession of important information that he may have been open to revealing publicly, and therefore that you should not precipitously close the investigation." Just deeming it to be a suicide, you should have a homicide investigation preliminarily, and that all started to skyrocket from there. You know, it's like that you probably your situation, and then it was probably not a good idea to go forward and say to announce that that Lue, had no intention of committing suicide, and he was not engaged in any kind of activities that constituted a threat of any kind of fatal injuries to him, etc. And that was probably a less than carefully thought through step to be taken, because it fostered and fed into the kind of maelstrom that began to develop around that. But that's
Damn.
not appropriate.
Damn.
Okay, yeah, the gist of it, right? So his
Bro.
own lawyer, right?
First of all, real quick, dog. Paul, shout out to Paul's Portal for hosting this space. And then shout out Red. Fucking great work, dog. You popped in like days after the statement was made. You got a chance to get an exclusive question into the lawyer of the man, and you got the lawyer to say, you know what? I think he kind of jumped the gun on that statement. I don't really think that his life was in danger.
Right? It's pretty crazy. People were crucifying us for saying that. Then his own lawyer says it. So it's like, but I'd be when I saw that, if I was Matt Ford, I'd be like, bro, what are they having me out here doing, dude?
Yeah, because Matt Ford emphasized this is when it gets serious, folks. Listen up. Like, come on, dude. Like, what? Now you're finding out from the man's lawyer. Let me ask you, everybody in the chat, do you think Matt Ford has a higher level of info and data, a higher data stream to Lue Elizondo than Lue's lawyer, Daniel Sheehan? And as far as lawyers go, the man's as decorated as you can get. Right, he's got fucking 10 toes in the ground. He's out here with civil rights issues, almost like a lot of major issues that have happened in the past. He's in the mix. Okay, so I think that Sheehan might know a little bit better here, and I think Red, you might be right. Maybe Elizondo, instead of releasing this himself on something, had Matt Ford do it for some I can't think of many ways, many reasons, many motivations that Lue would have to use Matt Ford to release this statement, right? I can't think of many. And the few I can are not good, but he had him do it. So now Matt Ford's out there with his platform, basically playing along, playing ball, right? Being the media asset he was brought in to be. And you get his lawyer, you get Lue's lawyer to basically backpedal and clarify the statements as kind of being foolish and something that causes this kind of maelstrom that those are his words, not mine, right? Those are Sheehan's words. Maelstrom that kind of like causes this issue. So that's a Skyfire exclusive, dog. Good work.
Yeah, I was Skyfire exclusive. I'd be pissed if I was Matt Ford in that. I'd at least be asking questions like, what am I doing?
I'd be pissed if I was Lue Elizondo. I heard that.
Yeah, and people are going to try and spin this like we're jealous of Matt Ford, and honestly, I wish him all the success in the world. And also, I saw someone was like, Fessler's talking shit on you. I'm going to convert Fessler, guys. Me and Fessler are going to be homies one day. Mark my words. He's already on the path. We're going to end with Fessler, actually, because he's already on the path.
Fessies.
But what's I going to say? Oh, yeah. It's like,
I'm back.
I would be concerned if like Lue Elizondo was asking us to give out these messages. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm jealous. It's like why are these messages going out to this guy Matt Ford, and then his lawyers coming out here and saying like, yo, that's not actually what happened. Like,
dude, it's been reported, okay, by people I trust, people you trust, that in order to get access to some of these guys, Lue Elizondo's name came up in this. This is alleged, right? And allegedly, in order to get access to them in a show, I mean, you don't get questions. They get to kind of like dictate to you what they say. And if you have an idea that you're going to ask some original question, like, what's up with all these sock puppets? You're not getting access, right? And so I know that, right? This has been told for years. And so for Matt Ford to gain this access, he basically can't have a voice, allegedly, right? He can't ask these hard questions. He's got to basically just build their narrative for them and allow himself to become a tool, just like Lou Jimenez said to Elizondo himself, use me as a tool. So it sounds like that's the position Elizondo seeks out in his relationships with his media assets. So I would say, kind of a shitty place to be, dog.
Isn't that so like kind of weird and predatory?
It's super predatory. Like this is without diverting the story too much, right? I was one time in the presence of an up-and-coming record label, their artists, and the owner, right? And I basically talked myself into being the video director for this entire little up and coming label. I thought that would be a great position, and I would just be able to pump out these little music videos. And the owner of the record label was on some weird macho, like boss man cartel shit. He really thought he was he thought like having these 19-year-old fucking kids smoking weed. He thought like, yeah, I'm like the boss. You know what I mean? And the way he acted and the way he treated these little peons, right? And the way he did it, it's and even like the bigger people, even like to a level me, like, don't get me wrong, that position didn't last too long, but like it was so familiar when I see the way that these guys treat their media assets in the UFO community with this I see the same kind of thing from Lue. I'm not saying that I've never had a conversation with Lue. I'm not accusing him of being some whatever, but I'm saying that the actions he's taken, the things that I've seen, they match up with this kind of vibe almost to an eerie degree.
Well,
now, I don't know how many
and the
people out there
vindictiveness after the fact, right? What happened to Greenstroet after he's no longer the media asset? What happens to Lou Reeves when he's no longer, when Jeremy McGowan is no longer the witness we like? Like, there's a
what happens when he thinks that one of his attack dogs suddenly unfollowed him? Is he interested in that news? Yeah, he really is. We've heard it before. So interesting.
Let's see, power through. All right, so now we're on to Tim Gallaudet, right? Got the final piece of this recent puzzle.
Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. Why is he in the mix at all? Why is he in the mix in UFOs?
So he was a oceanographer in the Navy. As I understand it, he would do kind of like meteorology reports for exercises and drills at sea for like large, I think, carrier strike groups on like up to pretty high levels. And he's just kind of another one of these military dudes who is kind of speaking out about UFOs and whatnot. He's been big on the USOs, unidentified submerged objects, and I think he's actually a great addition. I'm not some like disclosure hater. I think this is awesome, and if anything, I'm more concerned that his name and his reputation are being kind of twisted towards things he might not even be aware of. But yeah, he's also part of Soul Foundation. He spoke there, I believe. He released a paper through them, so that's Gary Nolan's outfit. Yeah, do you have any thoughts on him? We're going to go through some clips of him too, where we kind of hear his outlook on it.
I hear the word Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. I think a vetted, professional, you know what I mean, scrupulous, discerning dude, right? And then I hear that he's talking about USOs and that he's kind of like a believer. And I think, oh, wow, he must have seen something. He's not one to put his reputation on the line. But the more I hear about him, I did not think that he would have been in a paranormal show. The more I hear about him, the more kind of wider my perspective grows on who Tim is. And I'm not saying that like I don't think he's credible, or I don't think that he's any as much, I don't know, of a good source as before I found this information out, but I didn't think that he would be in a production like that. So
yeah, let's save that for because we're gonna definitely watch.
Oh, I didn't want to jump the gun there. So yeah, tell us more about Timmy.
So yeah, he's had some interesting UFO takes, and then there's that you talked about, and there's something else too at the end here that we'll kind of.
I'm totally convinced that we're experiencing a non-human higher intelligence. By the way, there's non-human intelligence all around in the ocean, especially when you look at marine mammals like whales and all that. But this is non-human higher intelligence, and they, of course, are possessing craft, vehicles, whatever that can do things we can't explain, and with technology we can't explain, and with laws of physics that are not what we know them to be, obviously. So, and I am completely convinced, because I know the people who were in the government programs, the legacy programs that oversaw both the crash retrieval and just the analysis of UAP data. So I'm very.
Shouts out Big Thing. That was a huge statement from him that they got there. He says he knows the people who worked on the crash retrieval and legacy programs. Who do you think he's talking about? I sure hope you don't know their
Eric
names.
Davis. I mean, Jason Sands.
Very confident in these. And I actually started to speak out about this because I did see something when I was in the Navy. On the Navy secret network during a big exercise, I received a secret email from my boss. It was addressed to myself and all the subordinate commanders who reported to my boss. So 20 flags, admirals, and senior executives. And the title of the email was Urgent Safety of Flight Issue. And attached to the email was the now very famous Go Fast video, the leaked UFO video from Navy F-18s. And he asked all of us on the line if we knew what it was, and if we did, tell him, because he was going to have to shut down the exercise. If not, because these craft were having near midair collisions multiple times with the Navy aircraft. I knew then and there it wasn't our technology. And then the next day, it was wiped from my computer, and no one ever talked about it. This major.
So that's pretty wild. I don't know if I'll play the full clip, but that was recent too. So he's on the mainstream news, which I think is awesome for this subject. And I think he's kind of I feel like he's a speaker that probably goes over well with like most people, right? Like military dude, kind of seems like a straight shooter. That's fine. That's awesome. I'm with it. I'm for it. Let's continue along here.
That issue.
I'm even working with a group to establish a master's degree program in UAP studies. So that's happening. And then so that I think that's what's going to remove the stigma, and it's already occurring.
What's that going to entail? The master's degree on UAP studies?
Yeah, well, really, I'd love to see a physics-based or engineering-based one, but that information is not out there yet in terms of crash retrieval. This one's going to be a humanities-based one that looks at some of the cultural and anthropological and societal issues around UAP, which there are many. I mean, if we're being visited by other civilizations with huge technology powers, what does that mean for society?
People are kind of clowning on him for this, but I think this is forward thinking. I think there's a UFO phenomenon. I think getting like studies on it on the technical side is sick. I do find it interesting though that he wants to start on the humanities, which would be like history and culture and how this happened. And you know, we always got to remember, right? Every day we write our own story, we write our own history. And like Tim, I hope you're watching this too, honestly, like Matt, and maybe just taking some notes, because I think, I don't know, this next clip.
Yeah, Tim, remember, you work for us. Not playing the humanities thing is really important. It's a very important distinction. I mean, he's saying instead of the hardware that we can prove, we need to start working on these philosophical ideas. We need to lay the groundwork for how people should behave, you know, and how people should interpret this phenomena. And that's a big red flag for those of you out there who know human beings and know your history. That's a big red flag.
Some people are saying it's a red flag because GoFast has been unequivocally debunked. I honestly don't think it's been fully debunked, but definitely NASA has publicly said it's been debunked, and so did Sean Kirkpatrick. So definitely I can see why that would be a red flag for people. This next one, though, was the one where I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
There are individuals who I will not name who I believe are getting paid, but every day they get out online and they're well known in this UAP community, and their number one job is to discredit these national authorities, these people like Lue Elizondo, who was with the task force, the UAP task force. I've met and trust and know, and he is 100% who he says he is, and what he says he's seen and knows, I have total confidence.
This was the one where I was the first real big red flag for me of like, ooh, what info are you getting from who? You definitely Lou told him this, right? That there's people out there paid to. Well, one, who do you think told him that? Who do you think he's thinking of when he's saying that? What do you think of this?
I think he's probably being lied to be honest. I mean, this idea that there's this big bad, right? It does a couple things, right? It primes your subject. In this case, it would be Tim. It primes him to think that there's an enemy, right? And then to disregard critique as enemy propaganda is pretty dangerous. And then also, some of these guys' sources associate themselves with people who every day harass people, their families, their children, their grandmas, every day. So he's describing people who are known associates with groups that he might be getting information from in the first place. And that's troubling. That's troubling. You got to ask yourself, do they know this? Does Tim know this? And we don't know. I don't want to say that I know more than Tim, but about this particular subject, maybe when it comes down to the community and what people are doing and what they've been recorded doing, it would appear that Red you and I seem to be the only people with some of this information at all, with the ability to put it together. What we see, it kind of like starts to play itself out. There have been a lot of predictions made, that have come to fruition based on just having an education, which is science. I am the science. So I think it's interesting, this idea that he's identified already some of these harassers or some of these people who are just misinforming. Maybe he thinks Greenstreet, Greenwald, the same old usual suspects. Kirkpatrick might be some of these guys that he's thinking of.
A girl named Tom says he seems very wholesome, probably easily manipulated. And he's probably smart too, but that's the thing too. It's like, I don't think everyone's evil in this conversation. Like even like Fessler and stuff like that.
Well, sure. Yeah. You like Thomas. I mean, he's cool.
People I think they're doing what they think is the right thing because situations are framed by them by like straight up manipulating ass people like Lue Elizondo.
Mm-hmm.
Like Matt Ford literally was out here like crying that Lue is about to get a death threat, and his own lawyer was like, nah. Tim Gallaudet is going on one of the biggest platforms in the world, right? Especially for this subject, and is like matter of factly saying that people are paid to just credit Lue Elizondo, and like Lue Elizondo is 100% who he says he is and all this stuff. I wonder what Tim Gallaudet thinks of the sock puppet question and the mother's a whore thing. You know what I mean? Do you think he knows about that?
Let's ask Tim. Do you know about this? If you're watching, if anybody wants to clip this, right? Tim, do you know about the whore situation? Do you want us to play the clip for you? Do you know that happened? Such a weird. I would love. You know what? We've played that clip for people who were like in the mix and have been for a hot minute, and they've never seen that. Isn't that weird? We've been in a situation where we played the audio, played the video, and diehard ufologists in the mix and in online are like, I've never seen this shit before. Are you kidding me? And it's jaw dropping every time. Every time. But yeah, Tim, I don't know if you know. If not,
all right,
say it.
Let's continue. We're oh man. Okay, we're gonna start there. All right, so now the conflict of today. Did Greenstreet attack families? We got all the players. We got Lue there kind of in the background. We got Greenstreet, New York Post reporter who's been since like ostracized and gone full debunker, skeptic. I think he does great work. I think necessary work, like Greenwald. We want our sword to be like as sharp as possible, right? So like you can't like run from these kinds of questions. Just have better facts and data. Tim Gallaudet, kind of newer on the scene, seems to be saying some stuff that seems like he's getting influence from Lue Elizondo.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Matt Ford, the current mouthpiece of the disclosure movement, who's kind of brought this kind of weird political attacking element more so than any of the previous ones.
And from attacking from like a different like account. That's a weird thing too. He's like attacking from a weird political action committee account. Strange.
All right, so let's see. So the tweets in question. This is what Stephen Greenstreet tweeted. Tim Gallaudet's haunted house and psychic daughter featured on Discovery Channel. In an interview with the Project Unity, former Navy Admiral Tim Gallaudet claims his young daughter is a medium who sees spirits and can communicate with them. He also says his wife and daughters appeared on a pseudoscience reality show called The Dead Files in 2016. Gallaudet's wife claims their house is haunted by violent poltergeist. Their youngest daughter, 6, thinks ghost monsters are hiding in her room, and both the TV show stars and her parents validate her fantasies as real. Gallaudet says he's taken his young daughter to multiple psychics to try to help her. I've pulled some clips from the show below, but I won't show the interviews with his daughter since it's so irresponsibly exploitative. It should be noted that Gallaudet is close friends with Jay Stratton, another retired Navy official who claims his house is also haunted by violent poltergeist who attacked his children. Both Stratton and Gallaudet have been lobbying credulous congressional leaders to write and pass new laws about UFOs and the paranormal.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that before we watch the clips that paired with it?
I thought it was responsible. Actually, I thought it was interesting and responsible of Greenstreet to not share the clip of the kid. He called it exploitative, irresponsibly exploitative. And I think he was digging at the production of it as well, and possibly Gallaudet himself. Yeah, and there's a ghost emoji there. I think in one way you can say that he's like clearly like, we know what Greenstreet's attitude is towards paranormal and these claims, so we can understand the I guess the point of view in which he's coming from here. It's not supportive, right? He's not saying like, oh my God, there's a ghost. He's actually being like, look at what this guy's been involved with. So yeah, that's what I think. Look at this guy. Look at Tim
Yeah,
Gallaudet.
and
Look at the
also-
stuff he's been involved with.
Chupa's had a ghost experience. I'm very glad I know this about Tim Gallaudet, right? It shouldn't be this hidden thing.
No,
I
yeah,
think
it's awesome.
Maybe where he's like, her parents validate her fantasies as real. That could maybe like, yeah, I guess he could have been nicer about it, but I don't see anything really crazy here. And
I mean, shit, the claim is that she's a psychic medium that sees ghosts. Like, back that up with some facts. There's people in the world who either believe that stuff and are going like, oh, that's amazing. And there's people who don't believe it and are like, I need to see it. The facts, that's not an evil thing. It's like you're asking someone to take such a leap of faith to be like, oh, your daughter's a psychic medium, or even the kid, right? Like, shit, dude. Like, yeah. I mean, one of the main reason I didn't say anything about what I saw when I was a kid is because I didn't think anyone would believe me. You're saying something crazy. So yeah, like not everybody's supposed to be like, oh, spit that shit, Tim. Some people are going to be like, this is kind of maybe a fantasy. You know what I mean? That's their right.
So here's the episode that played.
Things started happening.
Is this his
Sierra
wife?
turned 3.
I believe so.
Okay.
Let's talk about her. What's going on?
She has drawn pictures.
What kind of pictures?
I have some right here. This is the man with the brown arms. He lives in her room, in her closet.
Jeez, all right.
My youngest daughter had real serious behavioral issues, and to sum it all up, she is like many of these medium that you see. She can see spirits. She saw them all the time. And there are people that have this ability to tap into whatever we want to call it, the other side, where people go when they die, whatever that is, the energy that people leave behind. There's a lot of ways to explain it. And, my wife and I, we, through this experience, to just be able to help her, we came to meet several mediums who are incredibly gifted. There's one, it's on TV, Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo. It became real to us and it opened our minds. And I don't have all the answers, but I know what we experienced. I know what she saw. And it was even in the...
All right, so what do you think of this now with the clip?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I still like Gallaudet, but a little bit of Scientology vibes.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Gallaudet more because of this, right? I think I would love to sit down and have a beer with him and talk. I love talking about this shit, but he's being propped up as Rear Admiral. That he, and it seems like he just is a believer who believes in some of the most fringe things you can, which is that. Gifted psychic mediums, his daughter's seeing spirits. He's like very gifted mediums. I mean, I remember when Robert Bigelow brought up his own belief in mediumship and psychics and whatnot to Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's like, fuck that shit, right? And I think that like the fuck that shit is sometimes the best position. Is it the best position to learn from? No. But
Coin Exchange says, I think Gallaudet is brave for simply bringing it up. That's fair.
Absolutely.
And I think it's all connected, honestly. So
Absolutely.
It's kind of like,
I love that he had that experience. I like that he has that perspective. I think that should be, I'm glad I know that about him. I don't think that should be like hidden or tucked away. And shout out to Jay from Project Unity for getting the interview and getting this stuff talked about. That's fucking dope. I think that's dope. But when I say I don't like it, I'm talking about like where, if it was Rear Admiral, non-believer, skeptic Tim Gallaudet is saying like, yo, there's some USOs out there. This is kind of crazy. I'm like, wow. He's not a believer and he's has to accept this. That's a bigger statement. That's like an underdog story, taking somebody from skeptic to believer based on evidence they saw. But he seems to have gone into the UAP, USO type stuff, already believing in things that some of, most Americans don't believe in, into the fringe scale. Don't get me wrong. People like to dabble and be interested. The Long Island Medium was a successful show for a reason, right? People like that shit. People are interested in it. But to believe is not the common. It's not the common, not the mainstream, not the norm. But he's a believer.
So let's go ahead and
Props to
continue. I'm not going to play this because it's actually part of the same thing. He edited it together. We'll skip that. So then after Stephen Greenstreet's tweet there, right, where he says he's not going to show the daughter, I think it's valuable information for the community to know that. I mean, and bro, like, let's read it. Now we have Matt Ford from The Good Trouble Show after that tweet saying, new from The Good Trouble Show. New York Post journalist Stephen Greenstreet has attacked Lue Elizondo and David Grush But in a new low, he attacked Navy veteran Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet by going after his wife and children. Do you think that's fair based on what we read?
No, but it is in line with the type of propaganda that like Matt Ford has obviously been shown to engage in, right? Where he's spinning it for maximum salaciousness, maximum reaction. Why would, now let me reiterate this because this is important, I think. Why would this guy say this to you? And I mean you. This post was a public post. If you follow Matt Ford, he was talking to you. Why would he think you were so stupid that you wouldn't click the button and watch and have an opinion for yourself of what was said? And I have to ask this question. When Matt Ford, no, we might get to this. For now, this take is not an honest take. This is a spin. He didn't go after his wife and children. He was talking about this show. This happened. This was public. It's not like he sat there and dug up something that wasn't public. He dug up something that it seems like these guys didn't want to be super public about.
But is that even true? Because he talked about it on Project Unity 2 years ago. Like he's talking.
When I say these guys, I mean Elizondo, Matt Ford. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Because in my opinion, this propaganda machine, the idea of amplifying an admiral, right, as a believer, is to say this guy's seen so much evidence he's a believer now. And when we listen to him talk, we should look at someone who like, you know, lives a normal life, you know, just doesn't, you know, do shit, and all of a sudden he saw this thing and now he's a believer. That's not the case. That's not what the story
Yeah,
is.
that's a good point. That they're not just like, yeah, he's been in the ghost. It's not that. It's we have to flip this now into an attack on his family, so we're not even talking about the ghost thing.
Exactly.
Now it's immoral to bring it up.
Yes. Now we can't even talk about this. Is propaganda. This is narrative control tactics. Again, Matt Ford doesn't respect your intelligence. He thinks you're stupid. He thinks that what he says is enough to convince you that what he's talking about is right. Even if you, from this statement, this post, even if you go in and you look and you watch what Greenstreet said and you read the post yourself, you're supposed to walk away from it with the attitude that Matt gave you about it. Right. And so there's a lot of this going on. This is why propaganda is so dangerous to play if you're a social media person or a personality in the public eye, is because it's going to start to look like you don't respect your audience. It's going to start to look like you want your audience to be stupid and you want your audience to be gullible. That's what it looks like. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's what, Red, you were talking about earlier. We're like, Matt Ford, you might be damaging your credibility in the long term by repeating this type of stuff and spinning stories like this in the public arena, because these can come back to bite you in the ass when it is obvious that you're wrong, when it's later revealed that you were just pushing and spinning things for motives, probably financially gain, like all kinds of weird stuff going on behind this. It doesn't look good. Like, your audience isn't stupid. Your audience isn't stupid. We're not stupid. We don't need to be told how to ingest media. We don't need to be told how to digest and process something that someone said that we can just go watch and read ourselves. So when Matt Ford went on this, like, did he talk about this on the show? If so, did he?
Yeah, so this is a link to his show. And also shouts out to all the MH370 crew in the live chat today. Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up? What's up, y'all? We're going to figure out what happened to that plane. We're going to figure it out. And we are looking at so many metallic spheres in the sky these days.
So not only did Matt Ford, and we're going to watch part of the special, he tweeted that out. Lue Elizondo quote tweeted Matt Ford's initial tweet that we just saw. And this is what he said. I know Admiral Gallaudet, and he is a national hero. I encourage everyone to watch Matt's The Good Trouble Show short video. The behavior by certain journalists are disgusting. By the way, the same characters that attacked Tim and his family are the same ones attacking me and anyone associated with government transparency. Ask yourself this question. Why does the Pentagon and former Arrow leadership use the media outlets they do while freezing others out? Answer. Because they know certain hack journalists will promote their nonsense. Wake up, America. Your freedoms are under siege by pseudo-journalists with an agenda that is not in your best interest. I hope every member of Congress watches this video. So the first time I read that, I was just harping in on I hope every member of Congress watches this video, because, like, as we're going to see, it's totally misframed. The fact that he would just say that, like, this is the guy who's lobbying for us, that he would tell Congress to watch this like clearly, we're gonna watch the videos crazy. Like it's what you'd expect. But for him to be like, every member of Congress needs to watch it, that's crazy. But also, bro, how much does Lue Elizondo like self-report in his like accusations? Listen to this. Ask yourself this question. Why does the Pentagon and former Aero leadership use the media outlets they do while freezing out others? As Lue is literally giving this message via map forward and like never takes a hard question. Else. Answer, because they know certain hack journalists will promote their nonsense. As he's doing it through map forward. Wake up, America. Your freedoms are under siege by pseudo-journalists with an agenda that is not in your best interest. As he's pointing us to this fucking propaganda mill hit piece.
I encourage every politician to go watch this. Okay. This is wild. Holy shit.
That's so wild that like
Lue.
he always is snitching on himself, bro. He's always snitching on it. If you listen,
here's the thing. The only and again, I want to reiterate this to our audience. The only reason you would play these games is if you think your audience is stupid as shit. The only reason you would do these self-reporting things is if you know you're talking to the lowest common denominator, right? You're talking to people who have no discernment skills, who all they want to do is religiously follow you. They're not going to second guess what you're saying. But to everyone else on the outside, I mean, all you have to do is add up the track record. All you have to do is some light journalism, some light research. A lot of this stuff is public, and you just can see through it. Self-reporting all day. Take your transgressions, turn that into insults against the other people. By the time people hear about it the first time, they don't know what to believe. They just believe the first thing that they hear. It's just, I think it's just lowbrow. Like,
and seeing him do this and like saying that every member of Congress needs to watch map forward honestly makes me think that he knew all the same information as Danny Sheehan 2 weeks ago when he was lying, and he just lied about it so blatantly like this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's continue.
Most recently, Greenstreet sunk to a new low, targeting
So Matt Ford's video is like 12 minutes, and here's the segment about this interaction.
Retired Navy Rear Admiral and former National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Administrator, it's a mouthful there, Tim Gallaudet. Now, Admiral Gallaudet has been gaining significant traction in the mainstream press, advocating for UAP transparency and revealing his experiences with UAP while in the Navy, including the Go Fast incident. In this latest example, Greenstreet launched a series of disgusting tweets on X, targeting Admiral Gallaudet's young children and wife, all to defame the retired Rear Admiral. So you must ask yourself two questions. First, what kind of journalist would defame an altruistic, decorated former Navy Rear Admiral whose resume is 14 pages of accomplishments serving our nation? Second, and most importantly, what kind of journalist, or decent human being for that matter, would use Admiral Gallaudet's children and wife as a weapon to defame the Admiral?
So when I saw this, I was shocked, but then I wasn't. That he did not even show the tweets in question or what was posted. He's just telling the audience to believe that he attacked him and his daughter and his wife. Like, he didn't even show the tweets, bro. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, and then he spun it. Then he dehumanized him. What kind of human being would do this to someone and their kids? But he won't show what was done. He has to just simply tell the audience, like you said, what was done.
Can you list all those credentials for the America boners out there?
Will you run it back?
Short, let's play it again.
6 seconds, dude. I just want to hear that part that he said about weaponizing families. I want to hear that part.
I'm gonna play it again because it's kind of short. No, it might be quicker that way.
Most recently, Greenstreet sunk to a new low, targeting retired Navy Rear Admiral and former National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Administrator, it's a mouthful there, Tim Gallaudet. Now, Admiral Gallaudet has been gaining significant traction in the mainstream press, advocating for UAP transparency and revealing his experiences with UAP while in the Navy, including the Go Fast incident.
In this latest example, Greenstreet launched a series of disgusting tweets on X, targeting Admiral Gallaudet's young children and wife, all to defame the retired Rear Admiral. So,
is that the part you want me to pause after?
I want this part.
You must ask yourself two questions. First, what kind of journalist would defame an altruistic, decorated former Navy Rear Admiral whose resume is 14 pages of accomplishments serving our nation? Second,
so wait,
various Redditors archived dozens of Reddit posts.
I want to throw something in there. Oh shoot, I think it went to the next one already. But what people forget, dude, is Sean Kirkpatrick is a veteran. So like this whole like veteran worship, they turn it off and on whenever they want.
Most recently, Greenstreet sunk.
It's definitely not worship. So
various Redditors archived.
Oh my gosh, there we go. But yeah,
the
like
problem
Jerry
I have
McGowan-
the problem I have with that last part that he said, which is like, what kind of person would like use someone's kids and stuff.
Various
like,
Redditors.
So when,
most recently, Greenstreet.
When me and other UFO researchers on X were being doxxed and harassed, and our children's being doxxed and harassed by Matt Ford's friends, like his real friends, not fake friends. We're talking about people who have real connections to him. Matt Ford's friends and friend, and someone he said he loved. Now, Matt Ford really did say this. He said that he loves King Milkfart and everything King Milkfart does. And he said this to King Milkfart, and he called him King. He said this to him in his spaces where King was kind of confessing that he had just, King Milkfart just had doxed a woman's child to intimidate her, and had just basically committed revenge porn on another woman in ufology just to shut her up. Tried to out and say she had OnlyFans, found a photo of her that was not online, not on her social media, in a bikini, and then posted it with an OnlyFans logo and mocked her body and body shamed her.
And these are Lue Elizondo's fans and Matt Ford's fans who they interact with.
Matt Ford literally came into a spaces after his friend King Milkfart had admitted to doing this, and his reaction to that was, "I love you, King. I think everything you do is funny. I hear you're really getting a lot of hassle right now, but I support you, King." So now it's funny because now Matt Ford is saying that like it's disgusting that Greenstreet even mentioned Tim Galladet's wife or his kids when he made a shirt celebrating the doxing of my grandmother, and he helped promote it. This guy, his friend, look at these images. Those are of my nephew. Look at what he did to Red Panda.
To Jerry McGowan's family.
Oh, Jerry McGowan. Like this is what he did. So pay. I'm trying to be super calm. Pay close attention to this.
I can hear the audio of him saying that.
No, hold on. Pay close attention to this. This guy is acting. Matt Ford is an actor, and a bad one at that. Stick to lighting. Go back to behind the camera. That's where you belong, bud. Because no one believes you. Because you just sat here and tried to be like, oh my God, Tim Gallaudet's children and wife are being weaponized. This is outrageous. This is disgusting. What kind of human would do it? Well, look at your buddy, dude. Your buddy King Milkfart straight up fucking doxed my grandma, and you promoted it. You laughed and mocked me for it. He doxed my grandmother's house. People were online saying they're going to walk by. I went and delivered new ammo to my grandmother for her gun because of this. This other one that has red writing in the background, that's literally family members' houses, and the picture that's blocked is him using a picture of a young child younger than 5 as a profile picture being held by his mom, and holding up another one, the same kid at an older age, holding up a certificate to his school, just doxing him and his full name. And what did he do with those accounts that King Milkfart made? Well, he went around and said, and tagged me, tried to tell me to shut the fuck up, to stop talking about what I'm telling you right the fuck now. He tried to intimidate me by weaponizing my family, my kids, my nieces. That's what he did. And look at Matt Ford loves King. Play this clip.
In many, many ways.
Matt Ford loves King Milkfart.
I love King Milkfart in many, many ways. He makes me laugh, and I know you're listening here, King. But I sense that you've
been getting a lot of attacks as well. No matter what side you're on, if you just ignore it, you don't pour gasoline on it.
Just ignore it. I love you, King. I love everything you do. Matt Ford. That's on record. That's on record. You said that. And now you're trying to defend people from it, those attacks? Something you claim. You didn't even show Greenstreet's fucking tweet. So you interpreted journalism as an attack, but you refuse to accept that your friends are attacking people in worse ways. Worse ways. I mean, fuck me, Matt. Matt Ford. This is blatant insanity. No one believes you because of shit like this. You are not for the people. You are not for veterans. You are not for the community. We didn't even know what the fuck you were a year ago. And now you're in here fucking glazing it up, fucking just getting it done, dog. Well, good luck. Good luck. I promise you that it's going to be a fucking uphill battle if you can't figure out how to come across genuinely and how to tell the goddamn truth once in your show. Once, Matt, be fucking honest. To sit here in fucking indignation, like, I can't believe someone would report on this guy's kid. But you sat here and supported the doxing of a fucking grandma, of little children, to use someone's children to intimidate them because they don't fit your narrative. Matt Ford, you're glued to this forever. Your name is glued to this. Forever. No one has to make a website for this. You said it in fucking public, dog. You said it in public. Don't throw gasoline on the fire. We shouldn't talk about this. Hey, King Milkfart's hilarious. Hilarious? What we just showed on the screen isn't a fucking tip of the iceberg of one of the things he's done. How many accounts does your friend have, Matt? How deep does this go?
And why are you making shirts from it? Making a shirt for anyone is weird, let alone something like that. But we got a super chat from BM.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready, they ain't ready.
The new song is called We Don't Believe You. And we don't. We don't. Okay. It's coming out tonight.
So let's continue here. Because I do got to go in here soon, but
oh shit, we're just over here roasting. I'm over here roasting, man. Yeah, let's get through.
So he spends in his 12-minute video, he spends like a minute on the actual accusation that the whole thing is about. That Lue Elizondo is recommending everyone go to Congress about. He doesn't show the tweet, right? And then then it's just a bunch of stuff like this. Look at
dozens of Reddit posts by Greenstreet, ending with the phrase "black, click black." The phrase seemingly points to a news story where he wonders if the headline involves African Americans. He clicks the story and finds it is indeed about African Americans, and here are just a few examples. 8 arrested at kindergarten, black, click black. Huge fight in the cafeteria of Alabama State University. During lunch, black, click black. 500-man brawl erupts outside D.C. High School, black, click black. And then, of course, this Twitter post by Greenstreet, quote, the official national portrait of Michelle Obama. I could go on.
Oh, I got one for you. I should find this because I forgot about this. But
let it ride.
And I'm not saying that what was said there like is good or anything by any means, but it just kind of goes to show you that this is what they do. Whoa. This is the Scientology tactics. How does Matt Ford know all this back lore about Greenstreet? You know what I mean?
Matt. How do you know? And you didn't show fucking Greenstreet's tweet. You didn't show his tweet. You went through and dug up his Reddit post, and you're painting him as a racist. You look like you ate potatoes and your lips are sweating. You're so fucking white. What's going on over here? You're labeling people racist? I swear to God, you attack some of the only people of color in the goddamn community that you've ever seen. Matt, if I walked down the street and I crossed you, I think you'd cross the street. I think you would, Matt. I really do. You're over here calling Greenstreet a racist. For what? To defame him? But you wouldn't show what he said? You are fucking adding up.
No, you ready for this? Ready for this? And this is to prove to you guys all, these people don't care about this. This is just character assassinations because they don't like that he brought up the ghost stuff. But this is uplifting tweets. He has the exact same kind of comments in his past of these like black, click black.
Hold on. Uplifting tweets. Fettuccine Split is a graphic designer, does graphics for Matt Ford's show.
The Good Trouble Show is a mod there. He also does graphics for Corbell. So it's like police investigated shooting of Virginia Beach. Here we go. The subhumans are at it again.
Subhumans?
Virginia Beach man seriously injured in shooting, police say. Without reading the article first, going to guess it's a Lake Edwards area. We'll report back. I was wrong. It was my second choice gang run. So just kind of like the literal same thing.
And Fettuccine Split is a white man, right?
Yeah.
No sin in that, unless you're out here talking this kind of shit. Okay, so it's just starting to add up. I mean, if he's gonna, if Matt Ford can sit here and try to paint Greenstreet as a racist, Matt Ford, why were you attacking some of the only people of color in here that we couldn't have a voice? And why were your friends who share very racist views, King Milkfart, and uplifting tweets apparently, why are they also look just like you and they're also attacking the same targets as you? Greenstreet. I don't know. I got to find out more about Greenstreet. I really do. But this is a hit job. This is a hit job.
So they spend a majority of the time going through everything bad Greenstreet's ever done or typed or edgy. A minute they go over the Gallaudet accusations, but they don't even show the tweets.
Tupa, you're white. That's what I just want to call attention to that.
So this is after the fact. Greenstreet's like, yeah, I'm personally responsible for the Gallaudet family going on national TV in 2016 to claim their house is haunted by violent poltergeists. And I'm personally responsible for Gallaudet saying his daughter's a psychic who talks with dead people. You absolute knucklehead.
Absolute knucklehead. That's the best use of absolute knucklehead I've ever seen.
So there's the tweet again. We don't have to read it. I think you already know it's not.
Yeah.
And here's Matt Ford again. After I'm glad we went through that stuff. Since New York Post reporter Stephen Greenstreet cannot take the heat and block me, so I cannot reply, here's my response to his reply to my tweet. Screenshot below for UFO Twitter. Hey, asshat, you have zero idea what was happening behind the scenes with his family. Absolutely none. People are rightfully enraged by your clickbait, self-centered post, which pander to the lowest common denominator of humans who wallow in the gutter. You never post about someone's child. Never. And to accuse Admiral Gallaudet of exploiting his wife and children is ignorant, it's low rent, it's disgusting, an absolute affront to any military veteran who has worn the uniform in service to our nation. Remember, there's that America boner again. I say it because it's a thing. That Gary, we're going to cover Gary's thing. They literally target veterans because they'll pull this card, but if it doesn't apply, like McGowan, they'll take it out. Paranormal Chris, another veteran, they don't care, but when it's useful, they will use it. I don't know what ethics your parents taught you, but your moral compass must spin like a top. I used to think perhaps you were just oblivious or not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I quickly realized you know exactly what you are doing. I truly cannot fathom how you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror. Yeah. So someone made this comment earlier too in the chat. I forgot who it was, but they were like, none of them think it'll happen to them. And we're gonna watch Fessler. I think is starting to realize that like he's not the golden boy. But like,
real quick, can I comment on this?
Yeah.
First of all, he said asshole, not ass hat. For sure, asshole. You have zero, and that's in bold, zero idea what was happening behind the scenes with his family. Why would he have zero fucking idea? Tim Gallaudet basically spilled the beans on fucking Project Unity's show, and also they were on a fucking show where they talked about what was going on behind the scenes. So I'd say that they had, maybe Greenstreet had more than zero idea. Why'd you put that in bold? Liar. And then this whole thing, you're judging his moral compass. You just lied. You've been lying since day one. You're friends with people who literally attack people's children, weaponize the children, share fucking photographs of the faces of children that's your friend. You said you loved him. I have the screenshots of him attacking my daughter. You said you never post about someone's child. Never. Never. How about I have on record multiple posts from your friend about my child? Did you ever reprimand him for that? No,
and
you came onto a
do
space
anything.
And said, I love him. Yeah, Milkford doesn't do anything. Your friends don't do shit but harass people that you don't like,
So it's like,
and
why
that
are you
your
making a
bosses
shirt
don't
for
like.
him? It's not like he has all these great UFO takes or great UFO threads, and every now and then he harasses people. Like all he does all day is harass people.
guy's
So
a
why are Lue
certified loser.
Elizondo following him? Why is Lue Elizondo calling people to make sure he's still following him? Why is Matt Ford making T-shirts for him? Like it's crazy, bro.
Oh, we'll dive headfirst into that shit soon.
Shouts out Arthur in the chat. So then this led to people saying like this Disclosure Party thing, which is a little interesting organization. They're calling on the New York Post to sever all ties with Stephen Greenstreet for his shameful attacks on the family of Rear Admiral Tim Galledaut. What's interesting about this thing is that this account apparently is followed by Barack Obama. You see right there, Art is saying, can't help but notice the multiple retweets of Obama And Stephen Greenstreet says, or that Obama literally follows them. So
bingo.
Not the craziest thing, right? But it is kind of weird.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think this. I think our audience is actually smart enough to figure this out for themselves. You know what I mean? I think you guys are smart enough to see these and go, Now, I don't have the answers for you here. I went through Disclosure Party's account, and I can tell you what I think. Tell me what you think. Go through there. And before you do, please, if you guys are watching, if you're watching, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're the only ones out here reporting this stuff. We actually fucking love reporting this stuff. I hope you can sense the passion and devotion that we have for both the research and the execution of this show. Give us a like and a follow. Retweet this space or this show. Send it out. Put it out on UFO Twitter. Send it to your friends. I mean, this is real life shit happening. These guys are spinning narratives, and they're thinking that you're stupid enough to listen and to believe it without even having a little ounce of discernment or free thinking ability of yourself. That's probably not the case, right? Not the case. So we're going to continue to dive into this. We're going to wrap this up here. I don't know. We got a couple slides left.
Few left. But real quick. What's the most recent offensive thing Stephen Greenstreet has done? This is someone asking Grok.
Oh.
Stephen Greenstreet's most recent controversial action involved an attack on Navy veteran Rear Admiral Tim Galledaut, which included remarks about his wife and children. The incident was highlighted by a tweet by the Good Trouble Show on May 31st, 2024. So it just kind of goes to show that, like, you make enough noise, right?
There it is. There it is, folks. Jesus, this is fucking weird. Coming from this guy. Coming from this guy, dog.
All right, so we're going to end with this. People are talking about Fessler. I stand Fessler. I'm a Fessler stan because you're about to see he's starting to see the light. He really is. Thomas Fessler of Disclosure Tonight was one time one of the chosen media assets of Lue Elizondo, but it honestly seems like kind of they all left him for Lue. I mean, for Matt Ford, right?
Right.
Right. What happened there?
No, it was my bad. I got you. Boom.
So we've gone over these before. These are the testimonies from Gary Ack, his producer during the time, who basically said that they were whipped up and told that people were attacking Lue and his family, and they were unleashed on Lue Reviews and Manny 503, and they were asked to get information on people and harass people and dox people,
right?
All in the name of defending Lue. We're not going to go over like the full extent of these. We've covered them many times before. You could look them up on Twitter. Look up Gary the Brave.
Amazing confessions, though. I mean, this is to allege this stuff that you were out there attacking and harassing people as a producer of a fucking podcast that Lue goes on all the goddamn time. These very strange that you would have to do that. That these guys who are working on a podcast would suddenly have to engage in attack campaigns against people, harassing them, doxing them.
And this is from about 2 years ago and to a year ago when this was really flaring up for them. This is the rhetoric that was used.
I hope it doesn't for their sake, because, you know, karma has a tendency to pay back twofold sometimes. And, you know, what I've always told my dog, she fought up the conversation. You're the reason why people, not you guys, but those are the type of people, the reasons why people never took this topic seriously to begin with. Because when you said UFO, that's what you thought of. You thought of some dude in a basement at 35 years old sitting in his own. Just to the point. I appreciate it, guys. But remember, back to Rudyard Kipling, right? The strength of the wolf is a pack. I can only do what I'm doing because you guys are doing what you're doing, and your audience is doing what they're doing. So thank you for all. And this is a team effort. And, you know, I look to my shoulder right and left, and I see all of you. So thank you for being along, you know, on this journey.
We just wanted you to know that the pack has your back too.
Oh yeah.
The pack has your back.
This is exactly how Matt Ford is getting talked to behind the scenes, by the way.
Matt
Appreciate
Ford.
it, Rob, more than you know. It really, it helps. It really does.
I mounted the attack. Called in my chief.
Time out.
Rob.
When this switches over, I think it's important to switch over as well the topic. They're talking right now about a man named Rather Be Squidding. Okay, now Rather Be Squidding was a co-host of a show with Lue Reviews. You might know him now, Lue Reviews. They were in a show called the Unidentified Celebrity Review, where they were given exclusive access to Lue Elizondo. In fact, the show was started around access to Lue, right? But eventually they caught on to Lue's act, and they asked him a question that was unscripted. Rather Be Squidding asked Lue about his sock puppet accounts and was very, very persistent about that and did amazing journalism by trying to get a statement from Lue on the spot about it, in which Lue responded by calling his mother a hooker and launched several attacks and threats against what I would call like what ifs kind of thing. What if someone attacked your kids like that? What would you do? Yada, yada. It was very strange. So here we have Thomas Fessler and Rob Heatherly talking about this guy rather be squidding. So they're talking about him. They're not
So
talking
yeah, and the reason
to
I'm
him.
showing this is because we're going to show that this was Fessler when he was in campaign mode, like a Matt Ford, a mouthpiece. I'm going to go after whoever I'm told to, and then we're going to see what his recent take on this recent stuff is.
My cohort in this, and we took it on. And it wasn't just us. It was a bunch of people.
The people who are in on the secret, and then he, shares this special knowledge with them and really gets them to go out and attack his critics.
No, my friend. No, my friend. That's where the BS stands for bullshit, not be squidding. When people started attacking Lue,
first and foremost, they just need to stop. But whatever pressure it's going to take to get them to do it, that's their call, not anyone else's. They're going to get back on them with their pushing 100%.
Probably don't need to go with a battle cry, but the reality of it is that's what we have. We do have a battle cry. We do have a call for action, a call to arms. The start of the edge. I put out some tweets. This is a call to arms. This is the call to action for all of us to come together and support this great man and what he's doing. There's some real haters out there. There's some people, it was over on Rich Giordano over at Goofon last night, and he was going and they've been nothing but
this process to go forward. You kind of need to put a little pressure on the people that are hampering this conversation from moving forward further in the public arena. Well, they're sitting behind a keyboard. Anonymity
in their mom's house,
right? That doesn't last forever with that, and they motivate some people. And Lue is not going to take any action, but I dare say that there are people that will find the motivation on their own cognizance. I don't want to say much more because I don't want to incriminate myself or give anybody the wrong impression.
All right, so that was Fessler 2 years ago on his show when he was very much so mid-attack dog, and here's Fessler today, and I'm celebrating this.
But
here's his reaction to the whole Greenstreet. Did he attack the family or not?
Does Stephen Greenstreet's tweet warrant the buckle up response from Matt Ford? Yes or no? Honestly, I don't think it does. That's just where I'm at. Stephen Greenstreet has said a bunch of things along the way, and he's pushing it back. For me, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. Granted,
and I will be honest, I think there's an element here of, and he kind of talks about it here, like Lue has people do this stuff for him, and then he kind of like leaves them out to deal with all the repercussions of it. And Fessler did a lot of dirty stuff for Lue, and he got kind of dragged through the ringer for it. And I honestly feel bad for him for that. But Lue, like, you could tell he was supposed to get all these interviews and promised all this stuff that just kind of didn't happen. So that's pretty wild. And I think might be a motivating factor, especially as he's watching Matt Ford just send and send and send. But I think we're going to see a whistleblower Fessler within a few months. Let's see what else he said about this whole situation.
And he's bringing up about it's a war that's going on. And there's a lot of attack dogs. I used to be one of them surrounding Lue Elizondo, and then there's the attack dogs on the other side of the fence, which are the debunkers, and it's just this common tit for tat that's going on.
I listen to this one. He says, "I used to be an attack dog for Lue Elizondo." This is I think yesterday or the day before.
And one of the
holy shit,
you have the people who are in that particular role. But you get all these other people who are surrounding him, no matter what they say, no matter what they bring forward. It's like an echo chamber that just supports. And if anyone says anything wrong about this echo chamber, these people who surround it go out like attack dogs. We saw that today.
Oh, yeah, we did see that today. They were on the hound dogs.
And I was a part of that in the past. But I've taken a step back from it because it just puts you in a high area of exposure, not disclosure, but a high area of exposure to where the people themselves, who are those at risk, who are getting hit on, who are getting hit against for that matter, not hit on, but hit against, those should be the people who are stepping forward, not the attack dog squad. You have the
Holy shit.
You hear that, dude? He's pissed, bro. The people who are getting talked about should be defending themselves, not the attack dogs.
Tommy.
He's coming around, bro. I told you. You didn't believe it.
I mean, he just, you know, what's interesting is that the amount of gaslighting that's happening, it's not just that this crew exists, that these attack dogs exist, it's that they protect each other. When it's talked about, when it's exposed, when my grandma, when I see kids attacked, they just protect each other, and they claim that nothing like this could ever exist. In fact, they begin to say that like Lue would never talk to these people ever, right? And you know who tells me that stuff? You know who's told us that in spaces often? Is Rob Heatherly and other people who are on this show who just admitted to being attack dogs in his wolf pack. Ladies and gentlemen, the UFO community may not be safe, and it may be vulnerable, it may be compromised, and it may be dangerous for anyone who doesn't toe the line. I have suffered. Red has suffered. We've seen women and children and mothers and sisters and brothers and cousins suffer just from being in this community and doubting people like Lue because of people like these watchdogs and attack dogs. Here is Thomas Fessler, right? A close friend in terms of social media to Lue Elizondo. Lue Elizondo called in a show just the other week to correct something that Thomas had said about Lue's book that's coming out. So these aren't just like casual acquaintances, right? Lue calls in all the time. These guys are plugged in. He admitted just now in this clip that good find, Red, and good eye on this, admitted just now to being one of those attack dogs, the same attack dogs they denied even existed ever. They would laugh in your face if you ever brought it up. They would literally do that. Women would be in spaces being like, you guys came after me for what? They're like, we never did that. We never did that. Now look at them. Now look at them.
Mad respect to Thomas, because honestly, that's the thing. I think a lot of people are just excited. They're like UFOs. They see someone who they think is a hero, and you could hear it in his voice. He's like, I want to play it again as we close out, but he's starting to see. It's kind of, people are like kind of laughing that like he's telling Dodie, right, going from one counter-intel dude right into the arms of another. But yeah, dude, it was awesome to see this from Thomas. I think UFO should be fun. I fully support Thomas Fessler. Like, yeah, let's just talk about, come on the show, Thomas. I'll go on your show. We could do the thing where we both stream the same thing or whatever. But
and we got to get
cool to see.
We got to get the whole Disclosure Tonight gang on the show. We got questions.
We also got your back, bro. Because if you're, and Thomas, this is me talking to you. I know you've done some crazy shit for this disclosure group in Lue, and they honestly didn't go in on their part of the deal, bro. You should have had at least Gary Nolan on a few times, a few other people. They're clearly going with Matt Ford. And we've all seen it. Eventually, Matt Ford's going to do something or say something, and he's going to lose it all. And he's going to lose all the access, and he's not going to, you know, I mean, it's going to be like a foundation built on sand, right? Because you're dependent on other people. I don't know. I got your back, Thomas. I'm going to play it again.
People who are in that particular role, but you get all these other people who are surrounding them, no matter what they say, no matter what they bring forward. It's like an echo chamber that just supports. And if anyone says anything wrong about this echo chamber, these people who surround it go out like attack dogs. We saw that today.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, we did see that today. They were on the hound dogs.
And I was a part of that in the past. But I've taken a step back from it because it just puts you in a high area of exposure, not disclosure, but a high area of exposure to where the people themselves, who are those at risk, who are getting hit on, who are getting hit against for that matter, not hit on, but hit against, those should be the people who are stepping forward, not the attack dog squad.
Those should be the people stepping forward. They shouldn't be having attack dogs out here doing this stuff for them. You thought whistleblower UAP Mike was crazy, y'all? Whistleblower Fessler, I think, has like potential to like go nuclear compared to what Mike was, to be honest.
Bro, Red, mind is blown right now. Fantastic fucking show, sir. Oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been telling you since day one on Skyfire News and even further back for years that there is an attack dog group surrounding these individuals who attacks anyone who's critical of them. The attack dogs themselves created sock puppets and noise and fog to hide what they were doing. But right now, we've applied so much fucking pressure on these guys. They have to admit that it's real, and they have to admit that they did it. Congratulations. Congratulations to Thomas Fessler for finally fucking saying it. Congratulations to UAP Mike for being a stand-up dude and knowing what's right. Everyone in the community knows what's right. We're in here to look for answers, not to hide from the realities of our lives and our transgressions. Everybody, thank Red Panda Koala in the goddamn channel for putting this presentation together. I hope you learned something. I learned something, and I've been nose close to this for years. All right? This is crazy. The developments that are happening are crazy. Crazy. I feel validated, vindicated. Thank you, Red, for all you do. This was a fire episode. If you're out there, like the channel, like the show, and get this out there. Repost it if you want to. Do what you want. We'll be out there. Find us in the spaces. Ufology's just experienced one of the most popular UFO events that happens all year. The Contact in the Desert. We're hoping to get some of the guys who were there and friends of ours to tell us exactly what we missed out on and what to look forward to next year. And hopefully next year we get to be out there, boots on the ground for you guys. But until tomorrow, same time, same place. Red, you got anything any outro you want to do?
No, just Fessler. They're definitely going to try and woo you back. And honestly, you probably ride it for a little bit, but I think long term you'll do the right thing. I don't know with Matt Ford. I feel like he's going to get done dirty eventually. So I just be careful, bro. Yeah,
we got to figure out. I'm gonna look into Matt Ford's little background out there. You know, I mean, nothing nefarious. I just want to know where he's from, what his beliefs are about this stuff. For now, if you guys want to know about what we're doing, find us in the spaces, send us a DM, leave it in the chat. We'll get down to it. Thank you to all the members showing up in here. Everybody, you guys crushed it. Thanks for being in the chat, keeping us fucking live and active and laughing. You guys are always cracking us up. Thank you to the mods. We got B, Arden, Heather. We appreciate it. Fucking Skinny Bob's in the mix. We got new people out here, people from fucking MH370. Glad you're over here. Until next time. Lil Pop-Tart. Sassy.
We got to get on soon too. He's killing it. But yeah.
Dude, Lil Pop-Tart's about to be the next big thing in ufology. Dude, I can feel it.
Same.
I can feel it. Until next time, guys, we'll play out some music. Peace out, guys. Until next time.
He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. All the right words. Oh Lord, Matt Ford. In 2022, Matt was not around. Ufology. What did he do to get so far with Lue? Parasitology. Oh Lord, Matt Ford. You claim Greenstreet attacked Tim's fam. Well, damn. So will you tell him the truth? Or bend in the truth? We got the posts and we're gonna show them. Why didn't you show them that? Matt, did your evidence? Why is that? What did you do that for? What's up, Matt? Who the hell is Matt Ford? He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. Who they write for? Oh Lord, Matt Ford. Yeah, you claim Greenstreet attacked Tim's fam. Well, damn. So will you tell him the truth? Or bend in the truth? We got the posts and we're gonna show them. Why didn't you show them, Matt? Matt, did you show evidence? Why is that? What did you do that for? What's up, Matt? Who the hell is Matt Ford? He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right door. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. Who they write for? Oh Lord, Matt Ford. He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. All the right words. Oh Lord, Matt Ford. In 2022, Matt was not